Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'd like to apologise for my lack of uploading, been quite busy with work over this past week, but we are finally in the new season of Pokemon Go, and with it there has been a lot of move updates, new moves added to the game, and just a lot of buffs in general for mods that really wanted those sorts of buffs, and also there have been some nice nerfs to tone down the common meta that we've been seeing for the past, however many months with the previous seasons. And one of the mons that got buffed was Dusclops. Not Dusclops specifically, but Poltergeist itself had a damage increase to 150, I believe, and it's just an incredibly powerful charge move. So I decided that being as it's early season, we can have a bit of fun before we start trying to make the push for the higher ranks. I decided to run an ABB double ghost team with Shadow Quagsire on the lead, Shadow Dusclops for the safe switch, and Frostlass to sweep the end game in the position of closer. So without further ado, we're just going to jump straight into these battles and let's have some fun with it all. And here we go. Leading into the first battle here, we see Hisuian Electrode on the lead versus our Quagsire. We're going to immediately bring in the Shadow Dusclops. Shadow Dusclops will be hit with a charge move from Hisuian Electrode. Electrode goes for the wild charge. That's going to debuff their defense, and they do not switch out. They're staying in this matchup, which could lead me to believe that they are weak to ghost types in the back. So we're going to go for the Ice Punch. That will be shielded, and now we're going to shield the second wild charge and look to put the pressure on to this Hisuian Electrode. Shadow Dusclops going for the second Ice Punch. Ice Punch grabs the final shield from the opponent, and now they bring in a Talonflame looking to farm us down, but not before we get off this last minute Ice Punch, and that does some nice chip damage to the Talonflame. We're going to come back in with the Quagsire. Quagsire can live a Brave Bird from this range, so we're going to no shield it. The opponent goes for the Brave Bird. That's going to do so much damage, but we make it to a Stone Edge on bad timing just to take care of the Talonflame. Now we're going to bring in the Frostlass, look to shield once, and then fully farm down this Electrode. Electrode goes for the wild charge, we shield that up, and the opponent realizes we're going to get the farm down, so they switch out into a Vigoroth, and this is great for us because in order for them to do any kind of damage to us, they need to make it to a Bulldoze, and that's 8 counters. Otherwise, everything else is just resisted. Body Slam is double resisted, counter is single resisted, sorry. And yeah, as you can see here, we very comfortably make it to the next Avalanche, take out the Vigoroth, and then we make it to a third Avalanche to take care of the Hisuian Electrode, and GG to you, sir. Moving into the next game here, we see a Trevenant on the lead. Terrible lead for us. We're going to save switch into the Dusclops. Not a fantastic response since they do have Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball, obviously. We're going to call the Seed Bomb bait, and now the opponent is going to bring in a Swalot. No baits here. We're going to go straight for the Poltergeist, and Poltergeist is able to connect onto the Swalot, and that does massive damage. Now we could potentially look to let this go down and come in and go for farm on Frostlass. Frostlass looking for the Powder Snow farm. Now the opponent will make a last second charge move. We're going to let this go through, call the Sludge Bomb, and it is the Sludge Bomb. Very nice. Now the opponent is going to come back in with the Trevenant. We're going to throw the first Avalanche, and this will definitely get the shield from the opponent. The opponent is going to commit the shield, and now we bank an Avalanche looking to catch and move onto our Quagsire. Realizing that they would obviously just go for the C-Bomb because we were low enough, we decided to shield our Quag at the last minute, and it does. It ends up being the Seed Bomb. The opponent is now going to pivot back out into Medicham, and we can go for the first Mud Bomb here. They will reach a Dynamic Punch. We're still able to tank that and make it to one final Mud Bomb here. I probably should have undercharged this because now I can farm them down with the Frostlass, but I'm one shy of the back-to-back Avalanches, and I don't live a second Shadow Claw. So even though we would have been able to win this game had I just managed to get in one extra Powder Snow of energy, that is really unfortunate, but oh well, that is a good game. Well played to you, sir. And now, moving into the next match, we see an Altaria on the lead versus our Shadow Quagsire. Altaria did actually just get nerfed, obviously, with the Sky Attack, so it's so slow now to the Sky Attack, much slower than it was before, obviously. And we can make it to the Stone Edge before they get to the Sky Attack. We are going to go for the Stone Edge, and they are going to commit the shield, and then we will bank a Mud Bomb, realizing we would get farmed down, so we bring in Shadow Dusclops. Shadow Dusclops is going to tank the Sky Attack from Altaria, and now he will make it to the Ice Punch. This is double super effective damage. The opponent lets it go through, and now we are in a nice position here. Dusclops makes it to another Ice Punch here versus Altaria, and the opponent is going to commit the shield. And now we have 2-0 shield advantage. Frostlass to sweep this endgame. Frostlass comes in and gets the Powder Snow farm down, and the opponent is going to bring in a G-Fisk. And I decide here to overfarm instead of playing to the CMP tire because I want to gauge when they throw their charge move. Because as you know, I have a Mud Bomb banked on Shadow Quagsire. Gonna wait a turn, switch, and then go for the CMP stack swap with my Shadow Quagsire. Shadow Quagsire lands the Mud Bomb, and it is the CMP stack swap. You'd love to see it. Absolutely beautiful. And now Frostlass going to come back in. The opponent going to bring in Shadow Victory Bell, and that is absolutely perfect. Avalanche to the face. Get absolutely deleted by Frostlass, and as you can see here, this next Shadow Ball about to end this G-Fisk's whole career. Well played to you, sir. Good game. Moving into the next match here, we see a Dusclops of the opponents actually on the lead versus our Shadow Quagsire. They're going to bring in a Sea King, and now we're going to look to bank some energy and then bring in Shadow Dusclops. In hindsight, I probably should have just tanked the first move here because now we have to obviously take an Icy Wind. We are debuffed. The opponent is going to make it to another Icy Wind here, and that's fine because we can live this. We're going to let the Icy Wind go through, and now we're going to go for the Hail Mary Poltergeist. Poltergeist, this is double debuffed, but this will do big damage, and the opponent lets it go through thinking they can survive it more comfortably. Now we gain switch advantage. The opponent comes back in looking for the Hex farm down. We will not make another Poltergeist, so just going to have to settle for the Ice Punch here. Ice Punch doesn't do that much damage, but now we can send in Quagsire. He's absolutely loaded on energy that we banked from earlier. Mud Bomb coming through, that lands onto the Dusclops. We actually had the move there, and we could have played to the CMP tie, but we're going to call the bait here. It's a very risky play because they end up full sending the Poltergeist, and we lose so much energy. Now the opponent is going to come in with Meganium. I'm going to farm up 6 Powder Snows and then go for the Avalanche. This should be on CMP to their Frenzy Plant, but the opponent very wisely chooses to overfarm, recognizing that they probably obviously lose CMP to Frostlass here. We're going to shield up the first Frenzy Plant there, and now we're going to go for the next Avalanche on the CMP tie to their Frenzy Plant. Going to go for an undercharge here. This will still KO, obviously, as it is a Shadow Meganium. And now back out comes the Dusclops. We have to make it to back-to-back Avalanches in order to win this game. We are going to shield up their first move. It is an Ice Punch bait. That is very unfortunate. And now we're going to throw 1 Powder Snow and then go for the Avalanche. We are just 2 Powder Snows away from the next charge move. But the opponent makes a last-second move. What is it going to be? And it is just an Ice Punch, and we are just barely able to live that and then make it to the Avalanche. This Avalanche will be getting rid of the Dusclops, and we take that very close game there, so well played to the opponent. Headed straight into the next battle here, we lead Shadow Quagsire into Diggersby. This is quite a nice matchup for the Quagsire, depending on what the moveset of Diggersby. Obviously, it now has Scorching Sands, in addition to its regular moveset of Fire Punch, Earthquake. And a lot of people are actually running Hyper Beam on their Diggersby now, thanks to Human Catcher Bug. We're going to let the first move go through, and it is just a Scorching Sands. We are able to tank that, no problem. And now we can go for the Mud Bomb here. Mud Bomb going to land onto the Diggersby, putting them into a nice farm down range for our Frostlass. So we're going to let the next move go through. They're going to take out our Shadow Quagsire, and now we're going to come in with Frostlass and look for the Powder Snow farm down, the 1 shield farm down play. Going to give us a nice energy advantage here on Frostlass here. They go for a Fire Punch here. So not running Hyper Beam, and we get the farm down. The opponent's going to come in with an Alola Ninetales, and we're going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here. Avalanche is a risky bait move, but the opponent actually just commit the shield, so I feel right. I'm going to go for the bait this time around, which was very silly of me. I should have just full sent it, and the opponent ends up calling my bait. So now we're going to bring in the Shadow Dusclops here. Shadow Dusclops can live a charged move, so we're going to let it go through, and it is just a Weather Ball. Very, very nice for us. And now we're going to keep farming up, and the opponent is going to look to catch an Ice Punch. Oh my goodness, the opponent is in for a surprise as they actually catch the Poltergeist. Poltergeist deletes Medicham off the face of the earth. All they had to do was shield that move, and they probably would have won this game. Dusclops goes for the Ice Punch. That's going to get the last shield from the opponent. Could have just gone for the Avalanche here, but decided to farm them down anyway, and we take that game. So well played to you, sir. Into the next match here, we have a great lead. We see Alola Marowak into Shadow Quagsire. Shadow Quagsire over farming in this matchup, going to go for 7 Mud Shots and then throw the Mud Bomb here. Mud Bomb is super effective against Alola Marowak, so Marowak will commit the shield here. And now the opponent is going to go for a Bone Club bait here. That's not going to cut it, and we can go for another Mud Bomb here. Mud Bomb going to go through, connecting onto the AWAC, putting them into a nice farm down range. We're going to let this next charge move go through. They actually go for the Shadow Bone this time. And now I was looking there to potentially switch out and farm down with Dusclops, but yeah, not really much. The game just lagged and ended up staying in and farming them down anyway. But now the opponent sends in a Skarmory, and we are going to tank the Sky attack and go for the Poltergeist. Poltergeist. Skarmory is very, very tanky, and Poltergeist is massive damage. It still takes them out. The opponent thought they could survive, and now we're going to farm up a ton, go for another Poltergeist onto this defense Deoxys that has just come in. Will the opponent respect the damage? Yes, they do. They do respect it. And now Deoxys is going to go for the counter farm down, but not before we make a last second Ice Punch on the Dusclops, and that will land for some nice chip damage here. Now, I'm going to send in the Shadow Quagsire and go for this chip damage with this Mud Bomb here. Looking to potentially CMP tie them, but the opponent does hold on to the energy, and we still have 2 shields anyway, so it doesn't matter. The opponent can go for a Thunderbolt. We can just let that go through and farm them down for the 2 shield flex. Very nice. But now, moving into the next battle here, we see Lickitung on the lead into our Shadow Quagsire. This is not too bad of a matchup, but obviously they do have Power Whip, so we must be careful. And we can go for the Stone Edge here. Stone Edge is the hard-hitting move of the 2, and Stone Edge lands, puts them does about 40% of their health. Now we're going to shoot up the potential Power Whip here. The opponent does bait me with a Body Slam, which is very, very unfortunate. But now we can return the favour with a bait of our own. Mud Bomb coming through. This does get the shield from the opponent. And now we throw one Mud Shot and make a savage catch, catching the Power Whip back onto my Shadow Dusclops, making up that missed call earlier that we had, previously. Now we can go for the Ice Punch here. Ice Punch not going to KO them, but we can put them very low here, and we still live a Power Whip from this range, so I'm going to let it go through. We barely tank that, and now we make it to the Ice Punch, which will be enough to KO this time around. Will the opponent commit the shield here? And no, the opponent is going to let their Lickitung go down. The opponent is now going to come in with a defense Deoxys. They get the full double resisted counter farm down, but now we can send in Frostlass here. Frostlass going to look to overfarm massively in this matchup, and we know that we can tank a Thunderbolt. The rock side is a bit trickier, but most Deoxys is running Thunderbolt, so just going to call the bait like an absolute savage. And now go for the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball is going to be shielded by the opponent. Now we're going to look to catch the next move onto our Quagsire, and the opponent is able to not go for the Thunderbolt. They go for a Psycho Boost, but we still are able to tank it. We land that Mud Bomb, and that does some nice damage. The opponent is out of shield, so now I need to farm up to 100 energy and just leave with a move to KO the Deoxys. So we're going to shield up the Ice Punch from Medicham and now farm to 100 energy, go for the Shadow Ball, and this will be lethal onto the opponent's Medicham. Shadow Ball deletes Medicham, and we have the Avalanche banked for that pesky defense Deoxys in the back. Goodbye, sir. Absolutely vanquished on the face of the earth. Into the next match here, we see an Empoleon lead. Nice matchup for Shadow Quagsire here. The opponent seems to have just stopped tapping there. I'm not really sure what was going on. I think they were just probably lagging. And they do not shield the Mud Bomb that one-shots them. And now they're going to come in with the Scrafty. And, oh no, I'm having flashbacks to this game. Despite this amazing lead, I'm pretty sure this actually doesn't go so well, if memory serves me correctly. They're just no-shooting everything, and then we look to catch a power-up punch on our Shadow Dusclops, where we end up catching a foul play, very unnecessary catch by us, or by me rather, and they have a Granbull, a Shadow Granbull in the back, and this Shadow Granbull is about to charm through my entire team. I'm going to go for the Ice Punch here, and that will get the first shield from the Shadow Granbull. And now we're in a really tricky position. We have to make back-to-back moves on Frostlass, so we send in the Frostlass. Going to go for the Avalanche after 10 Powder Snows, which is a good fast smooth timing here, but we are just barely not going to be able to make it to the next Avalanche, and we get charged down. Now we're going to have to come in with the Shadow Quagsire. They're absolutely shredding us. We click on the move, but we don't get the new mechanic, and the opponent just charms through us and takes us out there. So I want to say well played, but honestly no, because disgusting Shadow Granbull charm. But anyways, we decide to safe switch into our Shadow Dusclops, and the opponent is going to respond with a Cloyster. So the opponent running some very nice spice here, going to go straight for the Poltergeist, and Poltergeist will be shielded by the opponent. Going to farm up back to the Poltergeist, and the opponent has farmed up a ton of energy here. We're going to shield up the first move here just to go for the Poltergeist here. We actually tried to bait with the Ice Punch, but recognizing that we're unable to land it, we just let it go through. We didn't actually full send the Poltergeist, so another very unfortunate situation, similar to a game from earlier, but I can come back in with the Shadow Quagsire. Shadow Quagsire going to go for the Mud Bomb here. Mud Bomb going going to be enough damage to take out the Cloister. Now we're immediately going to bring in the Frostlass. The opponent didn't farm up to a Scold or Dynamic Punch or anything, so we're just going to call it, and it is the Power Up Punch. And now the opponent is going to bring in a Gligar to our loaded Frostlass here. Quite a questionable play. We're going to shit up the move from the opponent, but... And obviously Aerial Ace has been buffed here. Gligar received a nice buff this season, making it very, very viable now. We are still able to outpace to the second Avalanche on the CMP tie here, and this will be enough damage to absolutely erase Gligar off the face of the earth. Back in comes the Poliwrath. They could have overfarmed here, but I'm guessing they weren't running any sort of hard-hitting charge moves. They were just running Power Up Punch and maybe like Ice Punch or something, I don't know. But anyways, Shadow Ball, not going to quite KO, but we bring in Shadow Quagsire to finish them off, and that is a good game. But anyways, that was the last game that we had for today. So if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and make sure to turn on notifications for when I upload a new video so you will get notified and you can come check it out. And in the next few days, I've got some more content lined up. I'm going to be posting a video with Skeledirge in a couple days from now, and then I will also put together a strong team for climbing, which I will be featuring within this upcoming week as well. So stick around and keep an eye out for those videos when they drop on my channel. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Take care now. Bye bye.